And welcome back to the show. Apple is off to making some noise. Recently, they had a couple of quiet months, but they just introduced some of their new products. And the question is, what can we expect Apple to release in 2022? And most of all, when can we expect them to arrive, given the fact that we're having a chip shortage? Join us now, and we're pleased to have more details coming to us from the editor-in-chief of Laptop Magazine, Sherri L. Smith. And Sherri, good to have you. And I got to start off with this. I mean, first of all, Apple held its event a little while ago. A lot of people had some anticipation. From your perspective, did it meet all the hype?
I mean, it never meets all the hype because Apple likes to dole out everything on a drip drop basis. So I personally was expecting to see the new MacBook 13 and the new MacBook Air and the highly rumored, highly anticipated M2 chip series. That did not happen, and Apple left off with this event with a cryptic, as for MacBook Pro and Air, and that's a tale for another time. So we will be waiting for that, just like we will be waiting for the iPhone 14 and the Pro and the Pro Max, or whatever the naming convention is going to be for the phones this year.
So we did see some new iPhones being released. Talk to us about that, because I understand for the consumer that really can't spend the money on the big iPhone, this was a help for them.
So the iPhone SE is really big with folks who, you're right, don't have $1,000 in or over to spend on a bigger iPhone. Not only, it's also for people that prefer a smaller iPhone. I personally love a big phone, but there are people that they're like, it's too big. I don't want to use two hands to type. So the SE is like a snack size phone, fits right in the palm of your hand. It costs $499. And what the big deal about this is that it's got, even though cosmetically it really hasn't gotten that many changes, it's gotten a huge power bump, because it has the A15 Bionic chip that we saw in the previous gen iPhones. So it's on a par with those, and it's like one of the most powerful little phones that you can get on the market right now.
Yeah. One of the things I heard immediately was one of my colleagues said to me, Daren, when it comes to the 27-inch iMac, it's gone. And I said, really? I said, okay. And what happened? So we understand that the 27-inch iMac is being discontinued. What are Apple's plans to get?
They haven't said yet. And I again, there are numerous Apple events throughout the year. We still have to have one for the MacBooks. We still have WWDC, which is Apple's developer conference. So there's going to be news there. Typically, you see news about software. So iOS might get a update, or a new one, or a new Mac OS, or a new iPad OS. But every now and then they have hardware there, so there's an off chance that you might see an iMac announcement there. Or we're still waiting for new generations of the AirPods Pro, and the AirPods Max. So there's a lot there's a lot of conjecture on what Apple is going to bring, but you never really know. As far as the iMac, I haven't seen any conjecture about what we're going to if we're going to see it this year, but I can't imagine that Apple would be putting the kibosh on such a popular product.
Yeah. So we also understood there was big news coming with Mac Pro. And what can you tell us?
Well, Mac Pro, for the desktop users, you have the Mac Studio, which is a tiny little box that has a lot of power, and it starts at about 1999. So it is not for the light of wallet such as myself. And if you really want it to be tricked out, we tricked it out. I think we got to 5,000. $6,999. So like it's a pricey machine, as would be expected from Apple if you really want all the powers. So that's like 8 terabytes of RAM, the highest CPU and GPU that you can get, 128 gigs of RAM. So it like that's for the really like and for MacBook Pro and MacBook Air, we're expecting to see new versions of the 13-inch and of the for the Pro and the Air. And we're expecting to see the M2 chip, which would be the next step up in Apple's ARM based M series chips, which have been really taking the tech world by storm with the power, the endurance. Uh, we saw we saw the arrival of the M1 Ultra, which is essentially two M1 Max chips soldered together. So it's like a mega chip and it's got mega power. But we've been hearing rumors for a while about an M2 chip. So I'm hoping those are true because I really want to see what the power output is going to be like. I mean, the price point is going to be through the roof, of course, but that like if you want Apple, they do not come cheap.
Yeah, that's the story about Apple. If you're going to Apple, you got to know that you have to be prepared to dig into your pockets, your wallets, your purses, whatever. Let me switch gears for a quick second because as we deal a lot with the Russia-Ukraine situation, we understand that America is on guard for cybersecurity and the possibility of cyber attacks. What can you tell us in terms of being best prepared for a time such as this, when we know that cyber attacks are a great potential?
Now is the time to really take a look at your VPNs and your password managers. If you do not have one, please, now is really the time to invest in them. They're pretty affordable. The password manager does exactly that. It manages your password. So instead of using password as your password or 123456, password managers generate a password for everything that you log in, and you only have to worry about one master password to access everything else. That way, there's less chance of you being hacked or being cyber attacked. It's also good to turn on your two-factor verification. Get an authorization authenticator app to make sure, like, just add extra layers of security. And as far as antivirus, start checking out your antivirus. Something currently, if you're a Kaspersky user, you might want to reconsider that. The U.S. has flagged that company because it is a Russian-owned company. So you might maybe not. Maybe find an alternative right now. If you're really secure, if you're worried about foreign cyber attacks, we are keeping abreast of the situation because it's not that Kaspersky isn't a good antivirus software. It is, but right now the U.S. is definitely eyeing them because they are a Russian company, and there could be security issues there.
Yeah, a lot to pay attention to. Very quickly before we go, anticipated date for Apple to come back with their new releases. Are we talking September, October?
For the MacBooks, that tends to be a spring thing, so I'm thinking maybe April, and if not, then they might make us wait until WWDC, which is around June timeframe. But I can't imagine them letting it go that far. iPhones are and other mobile gear, that's typically towards September October time. So I'm expecting at least three more Apple events.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing what happens there. And when they do come out, God willing, we'll have you back and we'll be able to discuss it even more. We'll probably have it before then anyway. So, Sherri L. Smith, thank you so much for being with us and sharing with us a little bit about what is going on in the world of Apple and also cybersecurity. Thanks much.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Well, I want to let you know that if you want more information about Sherri and her group, you can also visit their website at laptopmag.com, and there you can find all the latest that you need to know in greater depth than anything that we've ever talked about right here.